First, I want to apologize. I have a cold, and so I'm not going to be as loud as I normally am in class. My talk is the geography of urban poverty, and it's part two because I've been trying to address one of the media soundbite fallacies that really annoys me, that we are the third poorest city. I happen to be an expert on census data, and particularly the American Community Survey, and I don't like to hear about how we're the third poorest city when in fact we're not. Poverty is a national issue, not a Buffalo issue alone. So a lot of what I'm going to talk about, I know that's an unpopular thing to say here to this group, but I'm going to talk more about sort of the national picture in poverty and where Buffalo fits into that national picture. And then I'm just going to very quickly go through some of the community-based work that we've been doing with different groups around the area. Basically, there's a paper that's available on Poverty Research Web that looks at the ACS, the American Community Survey 2006 data, which is where this media soundbite came from. It's not only a simplification, it's inaccurate. And so what I did, the 2006 data was analyzed in the 2008 paper. The 3-year estimates were analyzed in this presentation, and there'll be a forthcoming paper. Each of the urban areas was stratified by size, which is what some of the other research claim to do, and also by different geographies. In geography, we have what's called the modifiable areal unit problem. And what that means is if you change the geography you're using, your conclusions might be very different. So, is this working? Okay, sorry. So basically, I'm not going to go through all of these slides. I gave Sam a longer version that he will probably put up on the library, but this is sort of an overview. This is a map showing the different geographies in Buffalo. Buffalo is legally defined, so it's a place-based boundary and census definition. The urbanized area is the yellowish area, and that's based on density, population density. And then the metro area is based on economic links, economic linkages, and that's a county level, the 2 county areas. So this is just to give you sort of an overview of what those geographies are. In terms of places, that's the city level census designated places geography. Buffalo falls in the small range, okay? Not in the medium range. We are borderline. If you look at the margin of error, we are borderline with the medium-sized cities. But basically, we fall, statistically speaking, in the small group, not the medium group. Our poverty rate is 30%, but that's plus or minus 1.5%. And statistically speaking, we are no different in terms of our poverty rate than these cities listed on this size. And these are all the small places that we have the same poverty rate as. These are all the cities, both in the medium and tiny categories, that we have the same poverty rate as. So we are not alone, okay, in terms of our poverty rates. One of the things that I did, in addition to what I had done in the previous paper, is I looked at poverty both by race and by family type. And at the 3 levels of geography. And I did not include all of the tables that are associated with this. The reason I included this table is that nationally speaking, as probably most of us know, there is an overrepresentation of the Black and African American population as being below the poverty level. At the place level, they're about 54% in terms of places where there's a higher proportion of blacks below the poverty level than there are as a proportion of the total population. So we're at about 54%, and I'm just going to quickly go through. This is a comparison to Buffalo. What this table does is it shows the number of places that are either the same as us in terms of the racial distribution of poverty or greater than us, have higher rates of poverty among those racial groups. That's just the number of places. This is another measure of poverty. This is the proportion of that population that's below the poverty level, again by race. and the number of places that are equal to us as well as have a greater proportion than we do. This is a summary of the racial statistics in terms of where we stand and on place-based geography in terms of the racial statistics. What I was interested in, I spoke to Donna last year about, I think last year or a year before, was the family type issue. That we know that poverty and that gets a lot of play in terms of it being a racial issue, but really it's a woman's issue. There is a severe overrepresentation of single moms in below the poverty level. This includes black and white single moms, Hispanic single moms, okay? So I went through and looked at the national statistics, again, on the disproportionate representation by different family types, married couples and single dads do well, extremely well. It's the single mom population that is severely overrepresented. And with respect to Buffalo, the city of Buffalo has an extremely high proportion of single moms below the poverty level. And very few cities, in fact only 2 cities, have a higher rate. So if we want a soundbite, that's our soundbite, basically. This is just a summary of those statistics. Now we're moving up to urbanized areas. When we talk about Buffalo as the urbanized area, that was the big yellow area that includes the 2 central cities, Niagara Falls and the city of Buffalo, as well as the denser suburbs, Cheektowaga, West Seneca, those areas, the Tonawondas. We are in the large group. The ranges are the same, but we move up to the large group. There are no borderline groups, areas in this group. Our poverty rate drops to 15% when you look at the urbanized area. And essentially, these are the urbanized areas that are no different from us in terms of poverty rate. These are the huge and the medium ones that are no different from us in terms of poverty rate. These are the small and the tiny ones that are no different from us in terms of poverty rate. Again, I looked at it by race. Both the Hispanic Latino population and the black population are overrepresented. This is the comparison to Buffalo, and I'll leave you to go through these because I'm running out of time very quickly. One of the things I do want to draw your attention to is in terms of the single moms, 100%, okay? 100% of all urban areas have a higher proportion of single moms below the poverty level than they have of single moms in the population. This is Buffalo single moms. Again, we don't do well there. Metro areas, Buffalo's in the huge group for the metro areas. Poverty rate drops to 14%. These are the areas that we're the same as, and I'm just going to quickly go through these because I have a lot more things. So this is essentially, I wanted to look at where we were in the terms of the national picture and really try to get us beyond the 3rd poorest city in the country, because we aren't. These are some other things that we've been doing. We did look at the internal distribution of poverty by different characteristics. This is the change in poverty, 1990 to 200. These are some statistics showing change. This is white alone. Children below the poverty level, children, some different types of maps for children, the number of workers. These are by TAZ's Transportation Analysis Zones, the redistribution of workers in the population. We have been doing work for the Anti-Flipping Task Force. We've also been building a community database, and we are going to be hopefully working with the Westside Community Collaborative again. These are just some of the maps. This shows the relationship between vacancy and house flipping, and then where house flipping is occurring and where vacancy is increasing. This shows the distribution of the change in race, and what this indicates is that which racial groups are being targeted in terms of flipping or different flipping activities. These are the in-rem foreclosures, arsons and housing code violations, assessed value. This is a combination of the databases that we put together and analyzed. This is our newest database. This is the real estate for sale. The City of Buffalo produces a real estate property catalog that lists all the property that they have for sale. This is in the Maston District. Everything that's in color there is a property that's on that list. This is the Lower West Side area, and we have the entire database for the city. But those are the types of things we do. So that's just an overview of where we are.